No. I think I'm live now. We are here. You can hear or see me. Can you please drop a comment? Good day, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you are here, you can see or hear me. Let me quickly hear you. Comments below. For those of you watching from our Facebook group, you can hear or see me. You can watch me from 3 platforms currently. From my personal page as Shakira Olokun, from our Facebook group, TP Parenting Academy, and also from our faith and YouTube channel at TP Parenting Academy. If you can hear or see me, kindly drop a comment. So I'm sure I'm not talking to myself. I currently cannot see anybody live with me. And I'm excited to be doing this again today. I apologize for not making up for this yesterday. My network was so bad that I could not, I was unavailable online for over 6 hours between the hours of 11 to around 4. So if you can hear or see me, let's hear. Usually we used to have the session on Wednesday. I just have to make up for it today on Wednesday, and we have just 15 minutes to do. Sorry, just 30 minutes to for this live session. Let me quickly call others to join us. Okay, while we're waiting for other people to join us, I hope that you're having a great day. I'm Shakira Shinlaja Oluokun, and I'm the founder of the TP Parenting Academy, a platform that is all about helping you with skills, the knowledge, and the tools that you need to raise a 21st century child. We are all about helping you unlearn unhealthy patterns that sabotage positive parenting practices. So if this is kind of the things that you look forward to having, you're the kind of parent that wants to unlearn some habits or some patterns that does not make it easy for you to parent your child with intention, we are here to hold your hands through the process on either of our platforms. Usually we do this program live every week on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook group, and also on our personal page. So you can find us here every week doing this. So, like I said earlier on, I'm all passionate about helping you build that child who is emotionally grounded and also helping you also as a parent first on learn unhealthy patterns. So the first thing that we're doing today, that we're talking about today, our discussion today is about 5 reasons why you should teach your child self-regulation skills. Before we move further, we need to ask ourselves what self-regulation skills. Self-regulation skills are just the skills that has to do with from the word self-regulation. Regulation means trying to put some things in place. It means what you're trying to ability to control to something. It could be something that you're trying to control. It could be your thoughts. It could be your emotions. It could be impulse. So self-regulation is about trying to control something. You're trying to control something instead of allowing that thing control you. And like I usually tell parents that every communication we shall see our child exhibit or portray is a communication of need. Every behavior that we tag as being this is a misbehavior, this is not appropriate, this is inappropriate. They are all a form of communications. And the moment you start to look at them in the lens of communications, the moment you are trying to look at the needs of your child. So the moment you do that, you're helping yourself not just respond reactively to your child, but also respond appropriately to a child's need or to a child's way of communicating. So if you can hear or see me, please drop a comment so I can be sure I'm not speaking to myself. If you can hear me, please leave a comment below and tell me where you're watching me from. I'm currently talking to you live from Nigeria, Ibadan, Nigeria, and it's currently 2:04 p.m. now in Nigeria. So let me know whenever you're watching this video, just drop your comments, your location, and perhaps the time you're watching this particular video. So like I was saying earlier, that as parents, when we start to see misbehaviors as communication, our response to our children's behavior, our child behavior, changes from that reactiveness to responding with intention and responding from a place of understanding that my child's communication is misbehavior is a communication. And what is that communication trying to tell me? Is it that my child is trying to meet a need? Is that my child lacks skills That way, you can help your child build skills instead of just commenting or lamenting of your child or nagging at them over and again with little or no changes. So, like I said again earlier on, self regulation is about you trying to control something. Is that your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your movement? It could be your what, your thoughts or your behavior. So, why do we need to teach kids this particular skill? We know that at the end of the day, the overall purpose or the overall goal of us as parents is to raise a child who can think independently on their own and make appropriate decisions. And life will always happen to your child. Your child might go out, maybe they are going out for a party with their friends. They might hurt one another. Your child might get into a fight with somebody, perhaps not intentionally, because they are still growing. Even as adults, we get misunderstanding with other people. So we want to equip them with the skills that they need to control themselves. Some people will frustrate them. Some people will deliberately look for their troubles. We want them to make decisions that are appropriate, and they will not end up regretting their actions. So teaching our children self-regulation skills is actually important, and at every phase of our child's life, it's important that we pay attention and deliberately teach them those skills. Children within the ages of 0 to 5 actually have that particular they have this capacity of their brain to absorb things in the environment. So it means that if you as a parent, what you do to your child is you don't pay attention, you don't teach them self-regulation skills. When they do things that you don't like, you yell at them, you scream at them, or you beat them, that's what they're going to see as normal behavior. So when people do things that they do not like themselves, they're also going to repeat what you are doing. They're going to repeat what you have always done to them. So it pays our parents to become intentional and ask ourselves, what do I actually want my child to exhibit? And like I said again earlier on, that misbehavior is a form of communication. All behaviors are communication. So if your child is communicating in a way that you don't like, perhaps it could be that your child is trying to meet a need or your child lacks skills. And if it is a skill that is missing, it means you have to teach that skill. And self-regulation skills, a child does not have it automatically. It's something that we have to deliberately teach them. It's something that we have to deliberately model to them. And there are a lot of factors that can affect how a child actually can regulate themselves. The temperament can be a factor that plays in how they self-regulate. Their personality also is a factor. Their environment, these are factors that you can actually influence how much your child can regulate or not regulate. And we usually say, I don't know if you have heard of the my marshmallows test that we have little ones as young as a 3-year-old to 5-year-old. They are put in a particular room and they are given they are asked not to sit down or they are asked to sit down. They are placed a particular cookie or sweet, anything can be placed in their fronts, and we ask them not to eat it, or we ask them, would you take this cookie now, this one cookie now, or you wait for me to come back to you in the next 2 hours and I'm going to give you double that cookie. And we find out that what some kids as young as 3 years old, we are actually able to wait for what? For that cookie, for the instructor to come back to the class before eating the cookie without touching that cookie. These are things that it has to do with self-control. It has to do with your child ability to delay gratification. And that's one thing that we don't deliberately teach our kids. Your kids naturally, they want to have things now. They want things now, they want it. Your child wants to eat yogurt now, they are ready to eat the yogurt. Your child see ice cream, even though they just finished eating one, they still want to eat it. But it's our duty as the parents to deliberately teach them that no, you have to delay gratification. You don't have to eat everything that you see. You don't have to say everything that you see. You don't have to get angry and beat people that when things do not go your way. But if we as the parents we fail to teach that to our kids, we are also doing them a disservice. So it's pays that we deliberately ask our kids to delay gratification by also modeling to them. When our kids do things that we don't like or things that are not appropriate, can we delay our gratification of hurting them just to feel like we are in control? That's a question to every one of us. So how do we teach this? There are many various ways that you can actually teach your child self-regulation skills. Because one of the benefits is that it also assists your child to be social. It builds them social skills because a child that is able to what to play with friends, to condole other people, to also forgive people, to also stand firm on their worth, is able to make better friends than a child who cannot. So building your child self-regulation skills will also help them intentionally build relationships with other people. It's also going to help them boost their social skills. So don't want to think of social skill, self-regulation skills as a set of skills that I just impose on your child. You have to be deliberate in how you teach your child, by how you also what model to them. So how do you teach this skill to your child? You have to let them see the longer goal. Many times as parents, when we tell our kids not to do something or to do something, we don't tell them why. We just tell them, I say stop doing that. I say stop doing that. I say you should do this. Teach your child. Don't say my child is too young. I'm telling you because I have a younger kid and I've been doing this for over 3 years now with my kids. Tell kids the reason behind why you tell them not to do something. If you have your child, if you can help your child see the longer goal of why you are insisting they do something a certain way, they are going to buy into that idea. But the moment you're just forcing them without telling them why you are doing that, they are not going to for long do that. For example, by teaching your child impulse control, e.g., by sharing. Once your child starts sharing something, you have to let them see why they need to share. You can use an example. One of the things I use for my own son is that if you go to somebody's house and they refuse to entertain you, maybe by welcoming you, by sharing their gifts with you, or you get to a particular house and you see a particular toy that you just that look attractive to you, and the person that owns the toy refuse to share with you, how are you going to feel? It will respond, I'll feel sad. So that's the same way your host, a friend also feel when they come to you and you refuse to share with them. And I also linking to them to what? To sharing. When you share with people, people will like you naturally. When you share with people want to listen to you naturally. And one of the things that my son will use to entertain people when they come to our house is his books. Once they are his peers, we tell them, yeah, come and take my book, let's read. Yeah, take this book. Because over time, I've modeled to him to share with other people. When you let them see the reason, the long-term goal behind why you insist they share with people or other things that you're trying to teach them, they buy into that idea more. And it also teach them that what letting them see longer goals also teach them that what social skills. Like I mentioned earlier, you can ask them question. Why is not good to take other people's thing? When you take people's thing without their permission, they are going to feel hurt, especially if they want that thing. Why can't we take our friends' ice cream and just eat it without his permission? Because it's going to feel sad. If it was taken from you, how are you going to feel? And I ask my son that very often, and he will say, I'll feel sad. So if you don't want your friend to feel sad, don't practice that with them. Don't say my child is too small. You have to start because, like I said earlier on, the earlier you start the skills with your child, this building these skills with your child, the better for you. And kids within the ages of 3 and 5, 0 to 5, have greater chance of building these skills. The older they become, the older the kids become, the more difficult it gets to build these skills intentionally. So let them see the long-term goal behind what you're teaching them. And that thing you also have to teach your child is that you can use everyday happenings. When I tell parents that you don't need to employ somebody to come and teach your child these skills. Using everyday activities, you can teach your child how to regulate themselves. When you are angry with them for doing something, instead of eating them or beating them, express yourself to them and tell them how you are feeling, and then don't end up eating them. Don't eat them, don't beat them, don't yell at them. By expressing yourself, you are teaching your child how to also behave when things do not go their way. So make it a point that as a parent, when they are doing things that you don't like, express yourself. I don't like what you're doing. I'm not comfortable with what you're doing. I'm angry right now. I'm upset right now. I need to go and cool down. By that, you are teaching your child. I do that with my son a lot. Sometimes I will say, I want to be lame in a shaitan regime. Just this morning, while I was trying to make some videos, I've been trying to make some videos for a particular grant, and I was constantly making that video. And my son came behind me and he was walking around behind the video, and I was angry. I was like, I told you not to walk behind my back. I want to be lame in the shaitan regime. And I started laughing. And he went, I said, I'm sorry, mommy, and he went away. Other times it could be that I just say, yeah, Allah, help me bless this month. I need to, yesterday I still had that conversation while I was in the kitchen, and he also said, yeah, Allah, help me bless mommy. So sometimes when I do things that hurt him, to maybe I mistakenly share his things with other people, or I took something that I'm not supposed to take from him, we say, yeah, Allah, help me bless mommy. I want to be learning the shaitan already. Because what we do to our kids, overall, at the end of the day, becomes their template of how to behave when things do not go their way. So when a child is frustrated at something, they're trying something new, or they have hurt you, don't hurt them. Don't hurt them by hitting them or beating them. Because what you need at that moment when you are hurt or when things do not go your way is for you to regulate yourself. And regulation must come for a child when you have taught them how to co-regulate. So if you don't teach them how to co-regulate, when things do not go your own way as a parent, you will end up missing that opportunity to help your child build skills. The third thing, and another thing that I like to mention about the impulse is that impulse, when we say that impulse, when we beat kids, we say that we beat them because they deserve it or because you have won them severally. But in reality, what you lack is the ability to control your own impulse. That's what research has shown that because there is a major reason why we beat kids is because one, we want to feel in control, or two, because we lack the skills, three, because we don't know how to manage our impulse. So if you're a parent that constantly find yourself beating your child at everything, beating your child or just yelling at them at every single thing, it might be that what thing, it might be that you have lacked the ability to control your impulse. And impulse itself is not a bad thing. It's not as if impulse is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but how to channel and use it is what is in question here. How do you channel your impulse? When you're angry, there are things that you're going to know. There are things that you're going to see. There's this physiological movement in you that you're going to notice. It could be that blood is rushing to your arm. And that way, you're already having that clenched jaw, you're already having that running arteries. And parents just say, I don't know how to control myself. You know how to do it. You know, if you pay attention, enough, you're going to know. And these are things that we teach in our emotional mastery class and also in our no beating challenge. That when you pay attention to the things, to the patterns of your own behavior, and how before you respond to your child's misbehavior, you're going to see that thing. There are going to be clues that you're going to pay attention to before you lose it. But because we hardly pay attention, we are not self-aware enough, we end up losing it and we end up blaming our kids. So teach them to also what? By using everyday activities. When things do not go your way, use it to teach them. When things do not go their way, use it to teach them. So another thing you can also use for very young children is taking turns. As little as taking turn is like waiting for turn before you talk in the house. When you're having a discussion and everybody wants to talk, make it a rule that what your child will not talk before when another person is talking. You raise up your hand, and when you raise up your hand, I will allow you to talk. Or you wait till somebody finish talking before you boot in. Don't just boot in when somebody else is talking. You can make it a rule. If you are a teacher in the school, make it a rule in your school, in your class that they don't speak in millions. You ask them to raise up their hand. Anybody that refuses to do that, you don't call their attention. You make it a rule that I'm going to ignore you until I give you the permission to talk. These are ways that we can teach kids to manage their impulse and regulate the one and self-regulate. So another thing you can also teach your child using everyday activities for you to teach them how to breathe. Breathing exercise. We underrate the aspect of breathing in this part of the country. You can teach your child how to just take a deep breath when things do not go their way. Doing that will not only regulate you, it also regulates your nervous system. But because many of us do not know how to do it and we are not taught, we just end up exploding when things do not go our way. We end up eating our kids. Within a twinkling of an eye, you are doing that and you are doing that again, and it becomes habit. But breathing alone can also teach your child how to self-regulate. But how do we teach our kids if we ourselves cannot do it ourselves? That's why parenting is about the parents than it is about the child. If you can hear me or see me, I'd like to read your comment. I can't see anybody live now. Please let me drop your comment. If you have been with us for so long, drop what you have been learning so far. Tag somebody to this video. Share this video with somebody. That way we can reach out to more people. Thank you as you do that. So another way that you can also do that to your child to help your child using everyday activity or everyday happenings is to teach them the difference between feelings and reality. Feelings is not something that is static. Feelings come and go. So we need to teach our kids that what when you are feeling angry at somebody, it's not because you are bad. It's okay for you to feel angry. But how do you do it? And know that feelings will not last forever. Like my son, when they start having their sibling quarrel, my older son, my foster son will say, I will never even play with you again in my life. Don't say, let me even see you with me again. I don't put in and say, you don't have to say that. So alaikum salam to barakatuh. Thank you. Sister Fauzi, thank you for joining us. So I don't put in and say, don't say that to your brother. You have to play with him. It's because you are hungry. Thank you very much for that. It's because you're angry. I don't say that to him. I'll tell him it's okay for you to feel that way. Yes, I can see that you don't feel like playing with your brother again. I used to feel that way too. But I need to tell you that it's because of the way you are feeling now. It's because you're hungry. It's this your brother, same brother that you're hungry at now that did something to you that made you happy yesterday. So that's the way of life. When you use everyday opportunities like this to reiterate to your child that feelings is something that come and go. Feelings come and go. So we are not our feelings, we are not our emotions. They come and they go. When we teach them that, they also learn to know that what this time will not last. This phase will not last long. So deliberately teach your child using everyday activity by breathing exercise, by using breathing exercise, by using taking turns, by also using waiting for turn, delaying gratification, and also what? Teaching them the difference between feelings and what? And reality. In reality, your child might say that I hate you, mommy, I hate you, daddy. In reality, what they're trying to tell you is that what? It's not that they hate you. They're just trying to tell you that they're not happy with what you have done. So if you are taking it personally that you are saying you hate me, shame me, yeah, no, you are going to miss the opportunity to teach them. What you need to teach your child at that moment is that let them finish saying what they are saying, let them calm down. I know it can be difficult, it can be difficult, it was difficult for me too, and tell them after that, when they have finally calmed down, tell them why what they are saying is not true. I used to also fall guilty of that before as a growing up child. So as a teenager, I would say never in my life will I talk to my mommy again. Never in my life. I will not even be like I will say all sort of things. But I was coming from a place of dysregulation. And when we are in that state of dysregulation, we just say things that we don't mean. We do things that we are not that is not truly who we are. That is not in line with our values or our vision as an individual. So when your child is dysregulated, that's not the time for you to start teaching them, start telling them, do you know how many days I've born you? I carried it for 9 months. Yes, you carried them for 9 months and they know that. But during that moment, your child is dysregulated and no amount of teachings can work that moment. But unfortunately, that's the way we have been brought up. We believe that it's that moment that we must teach a child. Sometimes you have to wait and just teach them, let them calm down. Because when your child is dysregulated, science, the brain science have told us that was your child cannot learn effectively. So you're just yelling at your child, you're screaming at them. They cannot even hardly hear you. So you need to wait till your child is in that state of emotion that they can actually process and understand what you're saying. And these are many of the things that we teach in our emotional mastery class. By the time you understand the emotions and how it all work, it helps you to also effectively teach your child how to self-regulate by co-regulating with them, and how to also know when you as a parent is exhausted and when to talk and when not to talk. So the last thing I will be mentioning here is also to give them choices. You might think that what my child is too small. Give your child choices. Don't say my child is just he's just 2 years old. As long as the child can talk and they can understand what you're saying, give them the opportunity to make choices themselves. As little as asking your toddler to choose between two clothes is an avenue to give them making choices. Why do you need to make your child make choices? Because making choices will become what we teach. We need to know that what it takes making decisions to what to become a master of a particular skills for a particular skill. So if you're not giving your child the opportunity to make choices with the skills that you're trying to build with them, they're going to end up fumbling when in reality when life happens to them. So give your child the opportunity to make choices. That way you're making them feel like they own themselves, like they are in control, and it's reduced power tussle. So if you have a child that is less than age 3 to age 10, especially, give them the opportunity to make choices. Let them make choices. Okay, are you going to eat? For example, for some parents to say, I don't, I allow my child, is what I have that I give my child. Like our parents used to say that, Omo kan lè wá dictate for me, nǹkan tí bá ní màá fún ọmọ mi. For those of us that don't understand Yoruba, it means that what? No child can come and dictate for me. It is what I have that I give my child. I, for one, also believe in that statement, but I also believe in understanding your child's needs, your child emotional state, and also understanding that what giving your child the sense of control to choose their meal, also make them feel involved in your house, also make them feel like they belong to your house. It makes them feel safe. So instead of saying we are going to eat eba in this house, you can know that perhaps maybe you have a timetable, you don't have a timetable that you follow. You can just say in your mind, you know that you are either eating beans or rice. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm going to cook beans," and you have a child say, I don't want to eat beans, so it's every time I'm going to be eating beans. Let them make choices between make decision between two choices that you are comfortable with as a parent. So if you are comfortable with either they eat spaghetti and rice, don't just say go and cook spaghetti. Let them choose from those two. Of course, there are moments that you are going to have only just one choice. You need to explain to them why that is what you are going to cook. Just yesterday, I was deciding, I was on the crossroad of choosing whether we should eat rice and or fufu. And I was asking my son, and which one should we eat? I want to fast tomorrow. I think we should eat fufu this night and I'll eat rice tomorrow morning so I can have my rice hot. And he was saying, mommy, I don't feel like eating fufu. Let's just eat rice. Let's eat rice. And I was like, no, I'll eat my own fufu. And tomorrow morning, I will take my rice for sahu. And he said, okay, no problem. Me, I will eat rice. Or should I eat fufu? That way, I kept him, I made him have that sense of control because I was comfortable with either of the two. And sometimes I'll not be comfortable. I'll have to explain to him that this is what we have at home. And we'll say, okay, mommy, let's eat it. When we have that one, okay, we are going to eat bread tomorrow because he likes bread so much. So giving your child that sense of control also make them feel safe in that house. They make them feel like they are a member of the family. They are not just imposed on. And it is practicing that give your child that mastery. And self-regulation is not a skill that you just build in a day. It takes time. So you need to give your child the opportunity to practice, to practice, to practice. When they practice more, they are strengthening that part of the brain that is responsible for self-regulation and for what? And for mastery. So instead of just giving your child, and this is what we are going to do, let them make choices. Give them choices between two things that you as a parent you are comfortable with. Another thing that you also do is that you can also play games. There are games that can help your child self-regulate. Many times we don't know that there are games that in our local games in Nigeria that can also help your child self-regulate. As little as what? Waiting for turn, tinko, or I call on can help your child self-regulate because impulse is something that self-regulation is about you controlling yourself, not talking when you're not supposed to talk. Learning to what? To wait for turn. These are things that self-regulation has to do with. So you can teach your child some games. You can play some games with them that will help them control themselves. A game like what? I call on can help your child control themselves. A game like what? Like slow down, speed up can help your child control themselves. A game like what? Spring game. There are a lot of games that we also teach parents in our parenting academy daily on and the activities that we share with them on how to utilize these games to help their child control themselves. As little as what? Asking your child to spend alone time alone and challenging them not to talk and making it fun is some of the ways that we use in the parenting academy. I don't know if you are here and you're part of the academy, you can just drop a comment if you're watching this. So these are things that we do and build daily or at least weekly with our kids to strengthen that part of their brain that is responsible for self-control. Because at the end of the day, even as Muslims, we believe, for those of us that are Muslims, believe that what at the end of the day, our overall existence is about self-control. Allah has commanded us that we should do this, we should not do this. It's our ability to control ourselves that will make us of the successful. So thinking about your parenting journey in terms of skills will assist you as a parent to respond appropriately to your child's behavior. Looking at it in the lens of is it skills that is missing? Is it need that is missing? Is my child trying to communicate with me? That way, you're not just a reactive parent. And that thing that you can also do, like I mentioned earlier on again, self-regulation game is more suitable for is mostly built during the first 7 years of life. There are window opportunities. The first rapid development that phase when we can build self-regulation skills is around age 5 to age 7. Age 3 to age 7. So if a child is 3 years old already, don't say, oh, she kere, toddler she need. Don't say that to yourself. That's an opportunity for you to build skills because these are the time that your child have those window opportunities that still the part of the brain is still very, very active and you can build on those skills. But unfortunately, that's when we are so like cadastical that we think that the child is too small. So we need to pay attention to the things that we do, to the things that we say, and how we also regulate ourselves with our kids. And I should mention to you that what there is no self-regulation without co-regulation, especially for a child. In fact, even for adults, there is no self-regulation without co-regulation. Co-regulation is the ability for you to hold space for your child when even they are misbehaving, and you are like, I'm there with you, I'm here with you. I don't like what you're doing. I'm not comfortable with this, but I'm going to hold space for you. But how do you do that if you as a parent get frustrated at everything that your child do? Your child is throwing tantrums, you are getting angry. Your child is frustrated at something, they're trying new things and they are feeling frustrated. You're like, "Titi, eti poju, ọ̀lẹ ni kó ló máa ń sú ẹ." Yes, it can be frustrating, especially I had to struggle with that with my son so much. He get frustrated at trying new things that I would immediately give up. And I would also get furious. Pé kí ló ṣe ọmọdé yìí ná? But I had to learn to control myself. I had to learn to hold that space for him. Because for me the more frustration he can tolerate, the more the narrower his window for toleration is improved. So if you want our kids to be able to tolerate situation, to tolerate frustration, to want to improve their window of tolerance, you have to deliberately put them in frustrating situation without us getting frustrated at them. So it's about how you as a parent intentionally build those skills for your child, how you intentionally make them see that they can do this without even you getting angry at them. But when you don't intentionally teach them, how do they learn the skills? So we need to look inwardly at ourselves first as parents. Am I showing up for my child? Am I actually teaching these skills intentionally? How am I improving yourself and lots more? So these are many more things, are the things that we're also currently going to have in our class, emotional mastery class on Saturday. It's because on Saturday. So if you are looking at way to join to help yourself develop that skill so you can teach your child and also to intentionally help your child build those skills, you might consider joining us. Another thing that we can also help you do at the TP Parenting Academy is also look into what joining our coaching session, our annual coaching program, where we break this down, these skills for you. You write goals, you set goals, and you track your journey over time in helping your child building skills. The truth is that parenting needs skills, and intentionally having a plan, a format that help you build those skills for your child while you monitor yourself and also hold yourself accountable is a good way to move forward. So that you don't just miss every opportunity of your child, especially the window period of your child's age, to help them build those skills. It becomes difficult the older they get. So the earlier we start with them, by holding ourselves accountable, by in being intentional in our journey, better it's become for them. So the window opportunity for your child to build this skill is around age 3 to age 5, and that window opportunity is age 3 to age 7, and that window opportunity is around their teen age, and that teen age also comes with what another frustration and that drama on its own. Then the next window opportunity is when you are already a parent, like we are now. So this is an opportunity for us to also build those skills. It's this period that we can also deliberately build that skills for ourselves through our parents. And that's why I always see parenting as a gift for us as parents. Parenting our kids is actually a gift for us to also reparent ourselves while also looking back and reflecting on the things that we missed as a parent so we can give that to our kids so they don't miss it. By doing that, we also build that skills for ourselves. I hope you have learned one or two things and you have also benefited from this session. Thank you very much for that, Fauzia. Thank you for the comments, ma. I really appreciate that. So, and on the final note, I would like to also tell you that you should let go of control. Let go of control. Anything that is making you think that you can control somebody, please let go of that thinking. Let go of that mindset. You have no control over anybody, not even yourself. Yes, to a reasonable extent, we can say that yes, I can control myself. I'm in control of myself. But in real sense, as Muslims, we believe that even that control that we say we have over ourselves is limited. So what thinking that we have control, even over a child, it's not right. We have to unlearn that habit. You cannot control anybody. The only person you can control is your behavior. The only person you can hold accountable is yourself. Because at the end of the day, Allah will not ask you about what other people are doing. Allah will ask you about what you have done. Of course, and Allah will ask them separately about what they have done. So we are hoping that's what we can actually tell Allah that I've done my home part. I'm successful in this regard. I did my home part. You see me, you see that I try for the child. Don't parent your child on the platter of what people say or people judge me about. Parent your child for the sake of Allah. Parent them for to help them build skills intentionally so they can become great citizens, so they can become useful to the humanity, regardless of religion, race, and tribe. So I hope that you have learned something today and you are willing to practice one or two things from what I've shared with you. Ask Allah to forgive us for whatever I've said in this session that is of no benefit to Him or that is not from Him. And I acknowledge that any mistake that I make during this session is from me and it's not from Allah. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. جزاكم الله خيرا for joining me. I really appreciate it. So you can leave your comments, your feedback, your questions. I will answer them as soon as I see them, inshallah. And I hope that you have a great weekend. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone for that. I really appreciate your comments. Okay, I can see that. Thank you, Shakira. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you to I don't know who is this, but it says Facebook user. Thank you for the prayer. Thank you, sir, for the prayer. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone. So we're going to call it a day today till we come your way again next week, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.